Yo, what is up, boys and girls? Welcome back to another video, and today we are doing a mirror recap. As usual, every Thursday we upload a video for, a recap for MPL Indonesia just last week. And in case you guys forgot what happened last week, well, it's time to take a look at the tier list first. Alright, as you guys remember, these were my rankings based on week 2's performance. Now we're going to be updating this for week 3, so I guess we'll start with Bigetron Alpha. Now for Bigetron Alpha, oh man, we got to talk a little bit about the Ling ban instead of the Roger, because one match they did win against EVOS Glory. I feel like in match number 1, or in game number 1 of the match against EVOS Glory, they were just outdrafted. Well played to Age, well played to EVOS Glory on that front, but then game 2 they were able to adjust, game 3 they were able to dominate. Really, just classic Bigetron Alpha, nothing really changed there. I do want to say though, in the match against GEEKFAM, it was more of a Bigetron throw than it was a Bigetron, it was GeekFam fully being better. Because there were some moments where GeekFam were just better. Don't get me wrong here. We'll get to GeekFam. GeekFam will be rising a whole lot in this tier list because of their performance in week 3. But again, Bigetron Alpha, if we take a look back at game number 1, and you guys should be able to watch, some of the clips here, there were a lot of moments where they had a massive lead. They decided to fight randomly, despite having, taken the Lord already. They took the Lord, didn't decide to fight. They decided to go for an end game that ended up with a boy outplaying them and turning the game around and giving GeekFam the game win in game number 1, I believe it was. Yeah, so a lot of little mistakes here, but the biggest mistake of them all for Bigetron Alpha, I think we'll have to talk about Bigetron Alpha's mistake in this particular game, all right? We'll see right here, boys, all right? I'm going to show you. Alright, so here it is, boys. This is the main mistake that Bigetron Alpha made up against GeekFam, right? Despite the throw. We already saw the throw earlier. You guys should be able to watch this now. So, if you guys realize this is game 1, we'll go through game 1, game 2, and game 3. And really, there's only one thing I would like to point out. Because even in this game, technically, they already had a way to beat GeekFam's draft. And this is very GeekFam, right? So, we'll get into this like a bit deeper later on when we talk about GeekFam. But Vincent always takes Roger. First pick will always be Roger. Okay? If they get Roger, they will always first pick it. And so far, we have not seen the Roger flexed anywhere. So it is literally a pick for Vincent. It is Vincent's comfort. Because as we know, he doesn't do too well on assassins. We've had this conversation many, many times, And if you watch the game, Fnatic Onic versus GeekFam in this week as well, the way GeekFam won against Fnatic Onic was when they got the Roger. When they got the Ling, when GeekFam were forced to play the Ling, they lost. Because obviously he's just not that good on Ling. He's not as good as the other pros, right? What's crazy is the fact that in the first phase, Bigetron decided to ban out the Ling. Like the Helker, the Chip, obvious Beloy bans, right? Ling? Like, at this point, I would actually just say, leave the Ling open. Try to, leave the Roger and Ling open if you actually don't want to ban Roger. So that you could actually pick Ling here if they still go for Roger. If they go Ling, you take Roger. You already get a massive pick in the Roger, and the Ling isn't really too good on the hands of Vincent. Now, okay, game 1, like I said, it was more of a throw, right? So we can give Bigetron the benefit of the doubt. They tried to counter the Roger instead of, banning it out, which is, okay, sure, no problem there. But then we look at game 2 here, and this game is literally Bigetron Alpha saying, no, we are going to ban the Roger now. Ban the Roger, ban the Helkert, then a boy ban here. They pick up the Ling. Ling isn't banned out. Pick up the Ling, and it's easy. And by the way, this is just this is really good by Bigetron Alpha. And then they ended up with Beatrix. They picked the Feramis into the Zosk. Really good stuff from Bigetron, right? So game 2, we already saw the answer, by the way, in game number 2. Right? You ban out the Roger, you pick out the Ling, you just go for the flex there. And then Vincent on Nolan, oh man, he was not good on the Nolan. Anyways, we'll move back, or we'll turn around at game 3. And in game 3, it's just weird. It's just really weird. They found the formula to beating GeekFam, which is ban the Roger, or, at least trade it with the Ling. And they decided to ban the Ling again. I get it. Ling is really prio, and in every single ranked game even, this guy's always banned out. In MPL, though, this is also always banned out, but not against Vincent, brother. I don't want to shit on Vincent because he did perform really, really well on the Roger, but I think even, the GeekFam fans who are watching this video can also agree that he is just better, significantly better on the Rogers, on these types of picks, not the Ling. So, this Ling ban is really the biggest throw for me for Bigetron Alpha. Had they just banned Roger, this would have been a game over. Honestly, this would have been GG. Yeah. So a lot of different. Well, it's not GG, but at least it'll give them a better chance to actually win out, you know, because then Vincent's going to be on a hero that he's not comfortable on. But yeah, there was some core mistakes here too for Bigetron Alpha. I personally don't like the Barats here. I'm not a big fan of the Barats. I thought, you know, if this was, I thought for sure, like, maybe they could go for something like an X-Borg here, honestly. I just, you know, additional damage, a very tanky member up against a comp that can burst them down. Maybe he could go for X-Borg and then we could distract. I think that was the option that I was thinking about. But hey, you know, they decided to go for Barats. That wasn't the main issue. Anyways, the main issue still is this right here. So, with all that being said, all right, so where does this put Bigetron Alpha? I honestly feel like Bigetron Alpha, we're not really going to be swapping them. I still think they are number one. They have some mistakes, and again, like, these mistakes happen from time to time. They got outdrafted as well by EVOS, which isn't a good look, but still, I feel like Bigetron Alpha deserve to stay at number one. It's a toss-up, though, between the two. Like, honestly, I feel like RRQ and Bigetron, at this point, they're very similar to each other in terms of strength. So, honestly, it could be either way. It could be RRQ number one. It could be Bigetron number one. I'm going to put Bigetron first because we're going to be talking about the next team. Yeah, let's put Bigetron Alpha just right there. All right. All right, with that being said, let's talk about Liquid ID because, man, Liquid were really, really impressive. Like, really impressive. So, for Liquid, I would honestly, like, they're impressive, but there were still a lot of mistakes. So firstly, let's get with the good stuff, right? Fabian and the Nolan. This guy, Fabian, on any assassin is just such a phenomenal player. Seriously, like, I mean, even on the Nolan, I feel like I've had this conversation with Arashi and Gani. I'll tell you guys as well. Nolan, Fabian, he's probably the best Nolan in Indonesia because of just how flashy he is. Mechanically, yeah, I'm talking about mechanics here. Because the way that he plays the Nolan just feels like a Lancelot, just feels like a Ling at some points, you know? It's just so flashy. He's able to outplay his opponents constantly as well. And I think if you guys have watched this week's MPL, you guys should be able to agree to. Like, his Nolan is cracked. Though, again, there are some mistakes that have led to Liquid ID losing. And I think Game 1 against RRQ was a very, very good example of this. Nolan trying to go for some damage on Hylos for whatever reason. There's still a lot of unnecessary moves. And this was my main issue for Liquid as well last week when I made the mirror recap. Even though they're really good, their positioning and sometimes their decision-making is a bit off. It does definitely feels like they're still very MDL-ish, yeah? So for Liquid, I'm going to actually have to downgrade them. There's still a lot of rookie mistakes. Though, again, very promising team. Aaron Shiki is amazing. Aran has become an enabler, so he's actually, you know, taking a step back. Instead of becoming that carry, he knows that the team needs an enabler. He's been playing the high-lows, the Terizlas, and it's great to see that he can actually adapt to these roles. But, yeah, I think the special players in Liquid ID has to be their jungle, their mid lane Yehezkiel, who's been amazing too, and their gold lane Aaron Shiki. Aaron is also a very, very good prospect for the future. The roam, though, I'll have to say, Witty is very inconsistent. Like, if he can stay consistent, he's really, really good. Seriously, like, Witty can be really, really good. The fact is, though, he's very inconsistent, and I'm just here left thinking, imagine this lineup, right? Aran, Yehezkiel, Fabian, Aaron, but with Yawi as the roamer. I think that could be a very cracked lineup, and I've heard Coach St. DeLucas in the losers interview, he did say that, you know, there's a possibility that Yawi will be joining this roster. They're actually still trying to cook things up. So if Yawi joins this lineup, honestly, this is going to be a very, very scary lineup with a team that is extremely, like, skilled mechanically. So Liquid, though, I'm actually going to have to downgrade them to mid-table because of their rookie mistakes. I still feel like right now there are a bit too many holes in their games, and it's still possible for some of these teams to take control and, you know, to take them off guard, take them out. Like some of the teams that we will see above them later on. We'll see, all right? But yeah, that's it. I'm going to be moving on to the next team. All right, next on the list, we have EVOS Glory. Okay, whoa. A lot of things to talk about for EVOS Glory. Firstly, the drafts have just been much better after Age's return to the team. We were talking about how Age would impact the team, and I remember saying last week as well, Age has never been a coach that I hated. Has never been a coach that I disliked when it comes to the draft, when it comes to his mind for the game. He's actually really smart. He's just been the scapegoat and, you know, the black sheep of the family. Everyone just blames Age. Whenever it's convenient, You know, when the team's losing, you always just blame someone. And Age took the fall real hard, even though the players were mostly to blame for EVOS' downfall back in the day. And the management. We don't stop that. Yeah, the management as well. But Age, he's great. His drafts are amazing. Though, again, it just feels like there are a lot of jitters for him on stage because some of the drafts does, like, it starts off really well, but then it ends up really bad by the end. And yeah, I think it's more just jitters. He's had a week to prepare. I think he will improve from this. And honestly, for EVOS, this is going to be a crazy upgrade because they look pretty good with Natco. I think the main problem when they had Brands was the fact that they just had a laner who could not be independent, who could not win strong side, who could not win in weak side as well, who couldn't do anything. Like, I don't know what happened to Brands. This is a constant dip. This is always the thing with Brands. Like, in even numbered seasons, he's always fucking ass. I'm not even joking. I don't know why he's like this, but even numbered seasons, take a trip down memory lane, brothers. Season 11, he was good. Season 9, he was great in MDL. Season 13, he was good. And then season 12, ass. Season 14 now, ass. Even season 10 and 8, he was You know, so there's a problem. There's a problem with Brands, okay? I have no idea what's up with Brands, but in even numbered seasons, he's just not that good. But Natco has been great. Weak side, he's been doing his job on the Moskov, and in the strong matchups, like in the winning matchups, he's been performing. I think Natco could be a very good solution to EVOS Glory's problem. If they can't play towards the XP lane anymore, they can actually play towards the bottom lane. Natco showed that against Bigetron Alpha. When he played against Bigetron Alpha, him on the Brody getting a winning matchup against Eman, he knows how to lane. He's really, really good. And if EVOS can capitalize on that, they can actually be really strong. Next also is Fluffy back on the enablers, just the Terizlas, and he's just back on the boring heroes. It is boring, but it's good for the team. Well, that's what EVOS need, especially with the carries on being Clockun, Anavel, and Natco. They got to have someone that can actually be just a tank here. And I want to talk also about the new transfer because we've been talking a lot of the good stuff about EVOS Glory. Let's talk a little bit about the negatives. Now, there is one negative that I will say is a negative for EVOS Glory, and that's not being able to utilize Anavel properly. The drafts have still been okay, in my opinion. They've been going a lot of Bane, though, and Anavel has always just been an assassin player in my eyes. Like, when you think Anavel, you think Lancelot, you think Fanny, you think Ling, you sometimes even think the Hayabusa. Anyways, though, Van has been promoted from EVOS Holy to EVOS Glory. So Anavel will most likely be replaced. And I think it's due to EVOS Glory's new style, which is more on the utility jungler side. I don't know if you want to call Bane a utility jungler because in a lot of cases he still does build damage and he does a crazy amount of damage, but he's the utility side to this assassin meta, right? If there's a utility jungler to be picked up in this assassin meta, it'll probably be, the Alpha and the Bane. And if that is EVOS Glory's strategy, yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense for Van to be stepping up towards MPL and, Anavel to be sitting back down. Because Van is still really, really good on Assassins, by the way. I don't know if you guys remember, but I've always been a fan of Van back when he was in Aura. This guy was impressive. Like, very, very impressive. For some reason, Aura just find really good junglers, right? Gugun and Van. And then now they have Fabian. But yeah, Van has always been really good, especially on utility junglers. His Assassins were crisp, clean as well. Not all Assassins, though. More like just Nolan and Lancelot, those two picks. He's amazing. So with the entrance of with him in EVOS now, I feel like it will be he will suit the role that Age wants the team to play more than Anavel. Is Anavel better on Assassins? By far. I still think Anavel is better. But does Anavel fit into the strategy of Age? No. I think Van suits Age's strategy. And I think I actually really like the change of Van moving up to MPL with Age being at the helms. So EVOS, I'm actually going to move them up from no playoffs, actually, from GOAT tier earlier to mid-table. A promotion for EVOS. Next up on the list, boys and girls, we're going to have a Geek Fam. And wow, Geek Fam have been really, really impressive, bro. Like, I'm not even joking. Geek Fam. Oh. Okay, let's talk about their negatives first, all right? Still lacks early game. In most of their games, they lose out in the early game because, yeah, their early game is just not as good as some other teams. But Geek Fam are still really, really good, right? The fact that, to be fair, this is just Geek Fam all throughout, even last season. They always play mid to late for the most part, unless Beloy gets Helkert or Natalia, or maybe even Saber. We'll see about that. But when he gets his picks, yes, it becomes really, really scary because early game they dominate. But for the most part, Beloy doesn't get his picks. He always gets, picks that are just forced to enable. He can't just carry the team. So yeah, they still lack early game power. They fall behind and they wait from mid to late. That is for the most part GeekFam's strategy. When they pick Roger also, the negative is it's always never flexed. It's never been flexed. It's always just been on Vincent. So that'll become very, very readable as we get into, week 4, week 5, and the end parts of MPL Indonesia season 14. So yeah, that's definitely a thing to be noted down as well. Next, though, the positives. A boy is an absolute beast. Like, he is the best mid laner in MPL Indonesia right now. The man's spacing is insane, and I really hope you guys can see this. Let's put it on your screen. This defense against Bigetron Alpha, the way that he spaced against the final slash flicker was just masterful. It was beautifully done, man. And, how can you be so ice cold in this kind of moment when it's a 3v2 and you don't have the Dominator's Descent yet? He used the Purify to, get out of the shadow, quad shadow, and then he just spaced out of the final slash flicker. He just read Luke like a book, and it was just such an impressive play. It was amazing. Masako is amazing too. Gobs is amazing. And here, I'll give you guys the best lineup of Geek Fam right now, in my opinion. XP, Gobs. Jungle, Vincent. Mid, Aboy, Rome Baloy, gold lane, Masako. If they decide to deploy that lineup this week, in week 4, dude, this is like Geek Fam. You saw the title. Are they a top team? Are they the best team right now? They have the potential to be. Every single season, they have the potential to be. Beloy can rebuild whatever the fuck team he wants, bro. Like, it doesn't matter. Luke left. He's the biggest. Honestly, it's still a downgrade. Gobs and Veldora still a downgrade, but now they've kind of made it up with an amazing gold lane. So we'll see how they do. They definitely have the potential to be the best team. They definitely have the potential to be a champion. I'm not even joking. So Geek Fam moving them up to top tier, right below BTR, right here. We'll see if RRQ and Onic stay in this position as we move on with the next team. All right, boys and girls, now we have Fnatic Onic. Where do we place Fnatic Onic? Oof, let's talk about their problems. Lutpii, Keyboy, and Sans. All three of them have been underperforming. I don't know what it is, but Lutpii and Keyboy especially. I think Sans, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt still. Maybe it's because Keyboy's underperforming. Maybe it's because Lutpii's underperforming that he hasn't really had the same amount of space as he usually has to actually take control of the game. Lutpii and Keyboy, I have no idea what's going on with them, man. I really hope they get better, though. Seriously, because, man, it's sad to see, a team that's been dominant for so long. You kind of lose their strengths here. And last week, I already did talk about how, for Onic, it definitely feels more of just like the whole team plays in a way where they all want to carry the game, and that just doesn't fit the team. What made Onic special? For a long time, it was their trio mid, and both the side lanes were just, enablers. CW always on the weak side, and Lutpii, or Boots rather, back in the day, always on enablers. Now we see Lutpii on enablers, but he plays it like a carry, like the Arla positioning, the Edith positioning as well. He really just wants to carry the game for the team. He wants to win the team fight, where he just needs to buy space. He just needs to get space for the team, He just needs to play as that enabler, and for now, Lutpii is definitely struggling with this style. CW and Kyrie have been the two consistent members of the team. It's either CW or Kyrie that, performs. And it's also just strange to see. I mean, it's good, obviously, that they have still 2 carries. But, again, in a meta that is very, very positioned towards mostly playing around the first turtles, playing around the trio mid and the XP, top side of the map instead of the gold lane, having an amazing gold lane like CW isn't as crazy as it was before. And the thing is, CW has always been special for weak side, right? Now we're seeing a mix of that, but still mostly weak side, so he doesn't even play, like the team can't even play towards CW side because he doesn't get the strong matchups. Anyways, though, they used to be complete. They force a lot of mistakes. Now it's mostly just them relying on mistakes, which is strange. Like even against Geek Fam, we saw that. Against RRQ, we saw that too. And for that reason, I'm still going to be putting them in top tier. I still think they beat all the other teams here that we see below them. But they are definitely the lowest top tier right now. Like it's BTR, and then we'll see if RQ stays there. Geek Fam and Onic. So yeah, let's move on to Alter Ego. Yo folks, I forgot to add this in the video, but There's an addition for Fnatic Onic. Lutpii will be replaced, I believe, this week, but I'm not too sure about that either. They just have promoted their MDL XP Rezi into the MPL lineup, so we might actually see Rezi over Lutpii in week 4. That's just an added bonus. I don't know if they actually will utilize Rezi because I personally don't have any data on Rezi. I haven't been casting MDL and I haven't really been watching MDL, but hey, we'll see if Rezi could be the key for Fnatic Onic. Maybe it could be the enabler, just, more of that selfless XP that we've all known Onic XPs for in the last few, seasons. So yeah, we'll see how Rezi does. All right, boys. This one is a tough one. Like, this one is just... Oh, my brain! I can't. My brain. All right, so we have Alter Ego next. And man, I am going to downgrade Alter Ego by a fucking shit ton. Because what the hell are these drafts, my guy? Okay, so Coach Aldo is a friend of mine. He's a good friend of mine. I don't want to shit on him. And I'm fucking 80% sure. I don't know, 20%. I really don't feel like Aldo would have gone for these 2 picks, like, in the end. But here's a pop quiz for you guys, all right? When you're up against a fucking Hylos, let's say you're going up against a Hylos, what do you need? No CC, banned out already, right? CC is good. What would you go for if you had this composition, Roger flexible, Edith flexible? Both of these are flex. What would you go for? You would flex the Edith to roam, and then you would pick up like an X-Borg here. That could be an answer, right? You deal with the tankiness, right? Sure. That could be an answer. Or you flex the Roger, you pick up a carry, right? Not good against the Moscow, but at least you have something to deal with the Hylos. And then maybe you can flex the Edith to XP and then pick up a Kaja. It's not good against the Zask. So anyways, you just need someone. You just need someone to lock the Hylos down, right? Someone to deal enough damage. Because right now, who's going to kill the Hylos, right? Who's going to kill the Hylos? Who? Roger, Edith, Aurora? No one can kill Hylos right now. Okay, no one. Let's move on. With the carry being in mind, with the X-Borg being in mind, who the fuck will go? They pick Nolan. Against a Moskov, sure. Against a Zask even, sure. Even though you can use the Dominator's Descent. Then you can see the instant answer here. It's Jawhead and Julian, whatever. Alright, at least X-Borg, right? Like Nolan, sure, can work. They decide to go with the worst pick possible in this game, I feel like. This pick was basically just like, oh guys, they have an assassin. Let's kill the assassin. Who the fuck is Cho gonna target, bro? Moscow's on Purify. Zask will be on Purify, or it's just gonna be very hard to kick him. You don't want to kick Jawhead or Hylos. You can only kick Julian. And even then, the Hylos is just gonna... And they don't have an answer for that, so Hylos can just tear them through. It's just... This drafting is so weird, guys. Like, because maybe here, I think maybe some of you guys will be like, Mirko, the new Cho passive gives you physical damage shred. Or sorry, physical defense shred. Yes, it does, buddy man. But the thing about Hylos is he plays with max HP more than base defenses. He doesn't have a lot of defenses. He has a lot of fucking HP, all right? So when you have physical defense against HP, why is CC the main counter for Hylos in lane? It's because CC deals HP percentage damage. It's the same with the X-Borg. You can deal more damage to this guy. Usually we see CC and X-Borg banned out. They left the X-Borg open. He decided to Cho, and this Cho is just, oh my god, bro. Like, but don't worry. Okay, this one is like, Mirko, you're just fucking nitpicking. It could be just a mistake, sure. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt in game 1, because what I'm going to show you will hurt you. I told you it's going to hurt, boys. I really told you it's going to hurt, okay? It is going to hurt when you see this, especially if you understand the drafts, okay? Pop quiz. What do EVOS have right now, right? What do EVOS have? What's something that stands out about EVOS' draft right now? I'll give you a second. They have one flex pick. It's not the flex potential. All right? There's one thing in common that all of their picks have, and it's magic damage. All of them deal magic damage. So what do they need now? They already have a Harith in the gold lane, so that's unflexible. They have a Valentina in the mid lane, so that's unflexible. So those are two picks that you cannot flex that will go to carry roles, gold lane and mage. So in the jungle, for another carry, right? Who are you going to pick up? Who are you going to pick up? You need a physical damage, right? Logically, you need physical damage, right? Like you need physical damage. Alter Ego decide to ban out, instead of like banning out the assassins, you know, like physical damage. The Ling is the only one banned here. Technically, they could go for, you know, a lot of different choices, right? Like physical. Alter Ego decide to ban the Julian. And then we'll see this, guys. Okay, we'll see this. But, you know, okay, to be fair, EVOS fucking dropped the ball even harder. Like, EVOS went super dumb mode. But in the end, you can see this shit, right? I mean, they pick up Matilda, and then they end up picking up Bane. So, damage-wise, they're okay. Like, damage-wise, they're not bad because they have the Bane here. Solo physical damage is still tough, but regardless, this Julian ban was unnecessary as fuck, in my opinion. Okay, this Julian ban is so... Anyways, this Matilda pick was even, like, weirder in this comp, right? Because what the frick is the Matilda gonna do here? You know, what the hell against this comp? Again, I can see the vision, but not against this. You know what I mean? Not against this first 3 picks, Matilda. Maybe it can work, actually. You know, you can disengage. But this game, I don't know if you watched it, but how it plays out is basically the Matilda cannot do anything. You can just take people out, but they can never initiate. And the thing with Bane is you kind of need, you know, the early game to go, at least farm up early. I think mostly they just played it wrong, maybe. But Matilda pick is questionable for me personally. Mainly, this is the Alter Ego need to work on their drafts, bro. Like, Alter Ego need to... Let's move on. Let's just fucking move on. I'm not even going to be talking about their players because Alter Ego, no playoffs. Confirmed. If they play like this is like Niall. Niall, shout out to Niall. He's really good. But that's it. Like, I swear, that's it. Niall is it, bro. Okay? Alter Ego, right now, no playoffs. Fuck. Okay, so... Next, we have Dewa United. So let's talk about Dewa United. Gameplay has been very, very template. They remind me of Alter Ego last season, where they play for the early game, they get early game lead, and then they win out. If they don't win the early game, they do sometimes have moments in the mid to late, but mainly it's just pure mechanics. You know, you just brawl it out. So mid to late, very questionable. A lot of chances missed out because they just keep on going for brawls, keep on going for the, you know, out mechanics, wars, battles, and that makes them super inconsistent. And that's why, personally, for me, I feel like even though in the standings, EVOS are, you know, the ones in the bottom, Dewa are not actually in the red zone. I think Dewa are weaker than EVOS based on, you know, this week's performance. And they're definitely better than Alter Ego, though, because, god damn, Alter Ego, fuck their drafts. Yeah, Dewa right here. Alter Ego did improve in their drafts against Rebellion. I want to give them, you know, at least that. Okay, they did improve against Rebellion. Their drafts are better, but still, the fact that that happened makes me cringe real hard, and I'm not putting them anywhere above no playoffs if they continue this. Okay, so next week they have proving grounds. Well, actually tomorrow they have proving grounds to actually try to prove me wrong, because god damn it, guys. Okay. We're gonna move on to the next team. Dewa, that's it. You know, there's not much to say about Dewa. It's just they're very mechanic based. Yeah, their drafts are also very mechanic based. And Azura is a good addition. I think he is better than Watt in Dewa United's case, because for Watt, he plays mainly strong side for the longest time. Now that he's forced on weak side and he's now no longer, you know, the team doesn't play just for him anymore. I think it is better to have Azura, a weak side player, a guy who doesn't need to be the carry at all times, to be in the team for Dewa. So that's an improvement, at least for Dewa. Next, we have Rebellion, and that's it for Rebellion. You know the problems for Rebellion. We all do. That's why they're in the GOAT category. I initially just wanted to just do that. You know, that's like the gimmick for Rebellion. I just be like, yo, Rebellion, and then we skip. But in all seriousness, everyone in Rebellion are just not playing well now. Audi was so good. Ryota was pretty good. They decided to play Aether. I think Aether is way worse compared to Ryota. Ryota is better than Aether. Don't play Aether. XP, Cars is probably the best player on the team. But even then, like, you can see his massive dip. And maybe that's due to the players all around him also just failing. But Cars is probably the only glimmer of hope for Rebellion. Suelo, he's so underrated. He's so good. Like, I'm not even joking. He was actually so good. Suelo and Audi were always good, but now, what happened? Come on, guys. Wake up. They got Matt too. Matt, just play the fucking clip. Play the clip. Play the clip right now. You guys can see it on your screen. What? I support Matt. I still support Matt. He's an ex-Bigetron player. I will always support Matt. I will always support Audi. But at a certain point, you gotta sit down, watch, and say, what the actual fuck was he thinking? Like, this is a ranked game play, boys. This is a ranked game play, and even in ranked game, you won't even. It's very low, like a chance of stealing that shit. You don't have Wind of Nature. You are so far behind. If you were full items on the Moskov, it would make more sense. I mean, what was that, guys? What was that? Oh, that's it. That's it. GOAT Rebellion. Last and definitely not least, RRQ Hoshi. Do they still stay up top? Right there. They have great adaptations. Their drafts are always amazing. Their players are all good. Dyron, shout outs to him, amazing players. Skylar, Sutsujin, Rins, and INDO. Every single member has been amazing. The only nitpick that I can give out is the fact that Rins got picked off so much against TLID in their first game. So I guess that's the only thing that I can really talk about for RRQ Hoshi. Because, no, they're actually, complete. This team makes adaptations on the go in-game. This team makes a lot of, different moments. They're such a good team. I'm not even joking. That's how good they are. I feel like they are really, really, really good. And we'll see if they can continue being really, really good in, the next few days and the next few weeks. Because if they keep this level of consistency and if they keep on growing, the way that they've been growing the last 3 weeks, technically, they are champion material. RRQ Hoshi are finally champion material. Bigetron and RRQ, this can change. Number 1 and 2, I would say both of them are number 1 right now. Bigetron are not way better than RRQ. RRQ are not way better than Bigetron. It's just on a good day, RRQ would win. On a good day, Bigetron would win. That's it. That's how close it is for the top. RRQ are really good. Really, really good. Very simple for me from RRQ. But that's it, guys. Now we're going to move on to top 3 players of every single role. Let's see if anything has changed. All right, boys, we'll start out with the XP lane. So for XP lane, number 1, I'm going to still put Super Luke. Number 1 is Luke. Number 2, I am going to actually give it over to Dyron still. Dyron has just been an amazing, amazing player. Dyron's number 2, I still think. Number 3, there will be a change, though. Last week, it was Sorizo. This week, I'm actually going to put Gobs up there. I think Gobs is really, really good. Has the potential. Gobs / Veldora. Both of them played really well. Actually, no, not Veldora. Not Veldora. I'm sorry. Not Veldora. Not Veldora. I'll probably just put Gobs there. He's been really, really solid for the team. And yeah, I feel I'm just going to put Gobs there. Yeah, I think Gobs is better. I think GeekFam's better lineup would be Gobs in a lineup with Masako. But those are my top 3 for XP. For the jungle, I think number 1. Jungle is really hard. I would honestly say right now, Sutsujin is the number 1 jungler. This guy is so complete. Plays the utility really well. Plays assassin still. Very, very high mechanics. Thinks for himself. Fucking amazing player. Number 2, I'll probably still say Super Ken. Super Ken at number 2. Number 3. Number 3 is tough because it's a toss-up between Kyrie and Fabian. Kyrie played really well this week. He was the only member that was fully carrying Onic, so I'm going to give it to Kyrie. Fabian did make a mistake. He made a big blunder, and that will dip him down. He's no longer in the top 3. Kyrie makes an entrance back in the top 3 with Supercan and Sutsujin being ahead of him for now, but that can change. Let's move on to mid. In the mid lane, number 1, a boy. What a player. A boy. This guy is insane. Amazing player. Number 2, Moreno. Number 3, Sans. Sans, this is the last time that I'll give it over to Sans. Maybe I said this last week too, but Rins didn't really have an amazing, crazy performance this week. None of the other mid laners had a crazy, super wow performance. So I still think Sans makes it there. Yeah, so let's move to Rome. Now, number 1, Rome. Last week, it was Key / Finn. This week, I'll be honest with you guys. Number 1 is Baloyski. There's only one roamer in MPL INDO right now that can force out 3 to 4 bans on him. Chip, you always need to ban Chip against Baloy. Natalia and Helkert, that's a new addition, right? And then against Onic, they even banned the Saber. So GeekFam, they have 4 free ban slots at almost every single match, or at least minimum 3 ban slots. Okay, minimum 2, Helkert and Chip, right? But yeah, GeekFam, Beloyski is just so intelligent, bro. Oh my god. Yeah, on the assassin picks, on these picks, he's so scary. So GeekFam, number 1 roamer, Beloy. Number 2, this is where it gets kind of tough. But honestly, I will have to say Idok. And then number 3, I'll put Key. Key has been downgraded from number 1 to number 3. And Beloyski makes his entrance in the top 3 of the best roam category, Mirko's best roam category for Mir Recap, at number 1. So yeah, there you go. That's the list. We'll see gold lane now. For the gold lane, number 1, I'm still going to have to give it to Eman. I feel like Eman has just been really, really good. Number 2, I'm going to give it over to Skylar still. And number 3, I'm actually going to give Aaron Shiki the title for number 3. This guy is full of potential. I'm joking. Masako. I'm gonna give Masako. Aaron is definitely an honorable mention though. But no, Masako is amazing this week, and I feel like he can be amazing next week, and he can continue to be amazing because Masako is probably, yeah, another shining glimmer of hope for Geek Fam in the gold lane. Masako. Honorable mention to Aaron though, because Aaron's really, really close. CW, for now, we will keep him out of the top 3 based on week 3, sorry. So yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys, enjoyed, go and leave a comment down below. Before we actually end the video though, in the title, I did put in, is MPL ID a weak region, or is MPL ID still strong now? Because last week, we actually did get an interview with Arcadia on MPL ID. What he thinks is the problem for MPL ID, the teams that, and MSC getting grouped. And in his opinion, the teams just focus too much on the Filipino teams. And I actually agree with this. I feel like as a region, MPL Indo, yes, right now we have to say we are weaker than the Philippines. But I'm not actually going to say that we are weaker than Malaysia. Because SRG are really, really good. I agree with that. SRG are probably top dog still in a top tier. But in terms of regions, I still think Indo has more quality teams than Malaysia. We'll see though with the next MPL Malaysia, because I have seen the rosters and they are looking real good. For now, I still think MPL ID is better. MPL Malaysia will start soon. I will have to watch MPL Malaysia and see for myself if they've actually all improved the teams, because with SRG being so strong, all the teams will have to climb up. For MPL ID, the longest time, it's just been Onic being really good and everybody not being able to compete with Onic. Now we don't see that anymore. So as a region, we are back to, at least I would say, more competitive standings. But we'll see by the end of the season if Onic still get the win, because I remember what I said. If Onic win MPL Indo, bye-bye. But yeah, I still think we can do it. MPL Indo can do it. Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Leave a dislike if you guys didn't enjoy and you want to say, fuck you, Mirko. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Mirko content. Peace out, boys.